South Africa, the society is shape-shifting all the time. And there is such a need for professionals who understand how to communicate, how to articulate these stories, and also to understand that the audiences are also changing. The market is changing all the time. So I think the reason why I felt it was important for me to be here is not because I'm an expert, but because I'm also learning and I'm having to evolve my game. I'm having to constantly grow my set of skills to suit the market that is evolving in South Africa. I think authenticity is so lacking in most corporate spaces, most public sector spaces. So what the audience, when I say the audience, the people that you want to tell a story to are so aware of people being inauthentic and being fake or saying what they feel they need to say and just basically ticking the boxes. There's definitely a desire from South Africans for authentic leadership, for authentic opinions and perspectives and thoughts on what's really happening in the country. And I think it's really important to share those stories in a way that captures the attention of the public out there, because there's so much to distract you. There's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's Instagram, celebrities, pictures, days and weddings. So you need to actually be able to tell your story in such a way that not only grabs the attention, but holds onto it enough or long enough to change their minds.
So my topic today was understanding the difference between video and images and what social media tells us in terms of the data. What is the data between videos and images? And so I spoke to the people in the room today in helping them understand the basics, the serious stuff surrounding the analytics between the two. And just basically helping them understand where we are in terms of the digital spectrum. Is one better than the other, or do they still both have a relevance on social media, videos and or static images? And the conclusion to that was yes, emphatically yes. Data tells us quite a bit that video is superior but not dominating static images or photos. Both have an amazing story to tell. Both are engaging. Both have the ability to engage a wide array of audiences. So yeah, that was my topic: understanding the difference between video and images and what social media data tells us about that.
So Africanization of imagery and animation is a real pet project of mine that I'm really passionate about, because I as a mother, we moved to a farm for about 9 months in KwaZulu-Natal. And so I wanted to give my children access to nursery rhymes, especially Zulu nursery rhymes, to help them with the language and get them used to it. And I could find nothing. And I looked for any other African language, and nothing existed of African nursery rhyme. A basic thing that every child gets is a song from their mother, and we don't have that in animation. I then found an Indian channel that had thousands of nursery rhymes in English, sang with an Indian accent, of which my children started getting an Indian accent. So the impact of the content that children watches has an effect, so much so that it can affect their accent. So for me, culturally relevant content is critical, especially for the early childhood development, because that is the foundational stuff. So it needs to be in their language, it needs to be in their culture and their environment. And in fact, when I did Sesame Street, when they came to South Africa, part of why they created Takalani Sesame was because the research showed that African children were not learning what American children were from the Sesame Street. And Sesame Street was very successful in America, but it was not having the same success here. And the research showed that the layers of barriers that the African child had to go through before getting to the learning outcome were multiple: accents, environments, little things like, rural kids not having taps inside, and that the environments didn't represent the world they came from. So once we had done that, and they gave us a manual that thick on the psychology of communicating to children in the early childhood development phase. And it's incredible just how much you are programming that child during that time. So now we're programming them with Peppa Pig, and we listen to how these children talk to their parents and the way the parents bicker and the issues that are going on there. And I'm like, This is all unconscious stuff that you're laying the foundations of how family dynamics should be from a different culture, and it does not relate to ours. So the impact of this on the future generations, and we see them with Generation Z and all of the generations, where what are our first items to buy fashion-wise? It's Western construct, because we are programmed that way in our homes. So the buying Africa, supporting Africa, making sure that we represent Africa in one way or another is a critical shift that we need to make in this post-colonial, post-apartheid time of getting back to our roots, getting back to our cultures, and being authentic from that place. And as storytellers, it becomes critical that we do that, because we lay the foundation for children's upbringing, because they consume so much of it.
Words can tell a story, but so can a picture. And you need to know how to enhance and help the audience understand the story that you're trying to tell. And if you're trying to tell a story that's very, very specific, you really do need those visual aids, because your story, your words are going to lead them down their own path. But the picture will help bring them towards your path. It might not be exactly aligned with your vision, but it'll bring them closer to hearing and understanding the story that you're trying to tell. As an actor, it's your job to interpret those words and take one dimension, black and white, and make it 3D color. So it's very, very important to be able to do that. And when it's acting, the visuals come from you, from your body, from your eyes, because a lot of times it's not a photograph, it's you portraying. And that comes from the eyes, and that comes from the soul. So you have to be able to interpret and enhance the words so that they mean something. They've got color, they've got depth. If I find that I'm trying to have a conversation with someone and I can feel that they're not getting the picture, I'd rather make it more interactive. Like I said, when I got up in front of the group, it's like I like to make it interactive. Ask me questions, let me hear where you're coming from so that I can try and guide you back onto my track. But sometimes people are not meant to get your message. Some people are just not equipped, not ready. Sometimes you just miss the target, because it's very important that you also understand your audience. So if you go in and you're discussing medicine, but you start talking about the IT side of medicine, a lot of doctors are going to be sitting there going, wait, I know how to take a blood pressure, I don't know what that machine is, I don't know what all these abbreviations are. People love to use these words that no one knows what it's like, what's a AOTOPO? Talk English, let me understand you. So you have to be able to converse with them in their language and on their level. Don't sit there and try and show off how smart you are. Because, once you're showing off, oh, I'm so clever, I know all these words and this, you're going straight over their heads. And also it makes them feel like you're belittling them. So you need to converse with people, not at them.
Images have a kind of impact on brands because they portray a story. They depict the style and tone of a brand. They speak volumes. Like I think with one of the slides that Sam had, it says like, if a picture can tell 1,000 words, what more can a video do? And then basically that's what video, an image can do for a brand. Can go very quite far. You understand? It can identify with the person. Workshops like this are very insightful because first of all, any workshop is very insightful because I think it's an opportunity to share ideas on how people think about certain things and how people have different approaches and things like that. And that sparks ideas and things like that. And then, like right now, one of the person that was here sort of got like an opportunity or something like that. And then I think these kind of workshops sort of like open ideas to people that didn't have knowledge. Like some of the executives that were here, they didn't know much about the process of shooting a film or a video, you understand? And then so much insight can help them lower down their costs and things like that because they're getting more insight. So that's why I think workshops like this should be held in every kind of topic, any industry. And then, I think.
Well, the reason why I decided to take part in today's workshop is to stand here and actually explain the importance of content. I think video content is where everybody's leading, and we need to understand the importance of actually creating quality content to translate the ideas and philosophies of brands and companies and organizations. I decided to do it because it's something that's so close to me, to try translate and put the amazing work that brands are doing, because we need actually to have a platform for brands to actually highlight the amazing things that they're doing. We need more stories that talk about how we all contribute to making the world a better place.
For more stories like these, go to www.social-tv.co.za, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on our social mediums.